of course, correct. My apologies.
The words came out, but his face spoke another story.
I assume you would have already interrupted that dispute, should the rod have found anyone.
You are correct. It is only us here.
Let us move on.
Ash and Prude exchanged glances as they remounted, and slowly turned their horses. Prude trotted slowly, allowing Hecktor time to catch her. Ash turned to watch them ahead of the two.
Hey, it's okay. We'll figure this out.
Yes, I intend to. My apologies for my outburst. I am wearing myself needlessly thin, I think. I am not sure how much longer I can keep this up.
Prude's hand fell to his head. He was just at the right height, and she stroked his hair. The two smiled at each other. Ash felt chills go down her spine. Something was wrong. She couldn't help keep watching this in silence. Ash stripped out of muddy riding boots and threw a sopping gown to the floor beside them. The rain had come and struck so hard that the small expeditionary force had been forced to interrupt their hunt. Save for Hecktor, he had stared out in the expanse faded gray by the rain and simply told the four that he will keep looking. That couldn't be normal. Was he really looking for the other phoenix, or was he working on something else? He had the mark of the spider after all. Mark interpretation was said to be as accurate as fortune-telling, but she could not shake the image of the man standing amidst with an enormous web spinning it with care and patience, ensnaring prudence. Shivers crawled up Ash's spine. Ash needed to talk to her. But first, a shower. The bathing facilities at the mountains had shocked Ash when she had first arrived. Awe-inspiring contraptions forged of metal and fire, not magic. The device pumped hot and cold water throughout the depths and heights of the mountain. In ways, they seemed more magical to her than healing or reanimation. Warm water poured over her with the turn of a knob. Scented soaps combined with a coarse sponge, and Ash found herself clean and free of muck a few minutes later. Toweling off her long black hair, a knock came from the door.
Who is it?
The door opened and Prudence came in. Her red hair, still wet, fell crimson tendrils around her shoulders. For once she was in her armor, wearing instead a simple frock with unadorned pants underneath.
Hecktor is still out, but I can tell somehow he's fine, and that he will likely be a while. I figured I should come spend some time with you. It's been a while since we did that, and as long as Heck is out, it'll just be the two of us. Oh! I took the liberty of raiding his room. He has quite the collection of alcohols. I am entirely unsure how he came about a chocolate mint liquor, but I feel that donating it to Our Lady's Night would be a noble sacrifice.
And she smiled at Prude. She couldn't help it. Even with everything that had happened, just being around her made Ash happy. And yet, that same feeling of joy drove a wedge of ice directly in her heart. She had never really understood the phrase, so close and yet so far until now. That bitch time.
No food? Like I forget something as important as that. I brought some hard cheese and bread.
Prudence produced these from a satchel at her back.
A night with just us would be great.
A night with just...
I thought so. Prude always knows what's best for Ash.
She winked. She found a seat on Ash's bed and produced the bottle as well as a pair of wooden cups.
Look, I'm sorry you're in this situation. I don't want to make light of it. I wish there was more I could do.
It's not enough that your partner seems to have dedicated his life to finding my pair.
I don't think that this is as much about you as you think. I think he doesn't like not understanding the situation. Or at least that's the feeling that I get.
Prude gestured at the spider on her hand. Ash slipped into a black nightgown and joined her on the bed, taking a cup as it was offered.
To our friendship, surviving what I had imagined to be the only thing that could ever tear us apart.
To our...
Ash paused, trying to swallow the lump in her throat.
friendship.
Ash drained the cup and lowered her gaze to find Prude wincing over her own empty cup.
Whoa! Stronger than I expected.
Prude filled the cups again.
Are you trying to get me drunk?
Well, you're far more accommodating when you're drunk, if you know what I mean.
Ash stifled a sigh.
You mean I'm easier to cheer up?
What else would I mean?
She said with a wink, "Bitch, you don't want these problems." Goddess, she really has no clue what she's doing, does she?
Your turn for a toast.
To my best friend, sticking by me in my darkest hour.
The two drank, and Prude was quick to top them off again.
You are me for the next one.
I'll go again.
Ash let a moment of silence hang in the air, gathering her will, her heart beating as much in her ears as her chest.
To you, whom I love more than I can ever say.
You're sweet. Bottoms up.
The two drank, and for a moment, Ash leaned closer in towards Prude. The moment passed.
Okay, no more shots. We should probably slow it down.
Still, Prude filled their cups and smiled.
So, what do you think of Hecktor?
I don't want to say.
She really didn't.
Come on, tell me.
I don't like him. There's something wrong with him, Prude.
Prude sipped at her drink.
I don't know, I kind of like that about him.
What?
He's different. But not in the kind of way where he's socially crippled. He's not like anyone I've ever met before.
That's because you haven't met anyone who's truly psychotic before, Prude. Look, I didn't want to say this before, but I think he's responsible for my mark.
What do you mean?
I mean, his research. I think he figured out a way to force a pairing.
No. No.
I think he forced you to pair with him.
Ash, I know the situation is upsetting, but you can't blame him for this.
Prude, you remember what we swore? We would be together forever. There is nothing I want more than that. I want to be with you. I want us to be together still.
Ash.
Prude, I love you.
Ash, I love you too.
No, Prude,
For a moment, silence hung in the air like a drop of dew, frozen delicately at the end of a blade of grass. Then the distance between them was gone. In a moment, and Ash felt Prude's lip against her own. Her lips tasted like mint and chocolate. Because we're all beautiful people. I'm gonna say this part. Y'all love me for this, don't you? Maybe, maybe not. Do you think I really care? You're lucky. Slowly, she pulled away. Prue's eyes were as wide as saucers.
Ash, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, B. I just need to let this out real quick.
Please don't tell me that.
Can we be besties for life, though?
No, look, I love you too. There is no one I love more. But I love you as a sister, as my best friend.
Ash couldn't find words.
I don't suppose your concerns over Hecktor are related to jealousy at all?
No. No, there's something wrong with him. I see it in his eyes.
Prude let out a long sigh. Ash couldn't meet her glaze. Oh, I'm thinking of glazed donuts. Gaze. A moment later, Ash felt Prude warm against her, hugging her tight. Oops.
It's going to be okay, Ash. I won't trust Hecktor until we can be sure he's worthy of it.
A silence fell, not the sharp, uncomfortable kind, but the warm softness of two people who just need a friend and comfort.
Though, now this explains a great deal about your love life. So, you like girls?
I don't know. I've been in love with you so long, I can't imagine loving anyone else.
But if you don't love me, I would be respectful about that. Ash, be respectful. Fuck.
Well, I'm sorry.
Don't be. You can't change how you feel.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you. I'ma shake your hand one day.
No, I mean, for not noticing it earlier. I'm really bad at this.
I'm not much better, or I would have told you earlier. I was just imagining the two of us being paired, and then I would confess. That was going to be the start of our life together.
Bish, what? Another silence fell.
I am now concerned that my hugging you might be sending mixed signals when you might need some space.
It's not like I have anyone else to go to for comfort. I appreciate it. Plus, part of me must have known it wouldn't work out.
Want me to go?
No.
The words came with a deep pain in her chest.
But maybe you should.
I'll leave the drink and the food. Eat if you get hungry, okay? And Ash,
Yes?
I'll always be here for you. Paired or not.
Bestie for life. I love this bitch and I hate her. Prude squeezed her again, and for a moment the smell of Prude in her hair. Oh my god. Her wet hair nearly drove Ash to try to kiss her once more, just to try. But nah, bitch, you better respect that. She was gone a moment later, leaving a lingering warmth on her skin. Ash drained her cup and pulled a blanket around her. She sat in silence, breathing slow and steady as she held back tears. Ash started to wake up, cup still in hand, the cheese half eaten, but the bread untouched. The bottle was empty.
Who, is it?
The door did not provide a response, instead swinging open to reveal death itself standing within its frame. The cloaked figure strolled towards her, extending an arm's sheath of water pouring from it.
I have found something.
What?
I found something.
Hecktor?
Yes?
Why are you here?
I was out visiting the other nearby villages. I was asking about unfamiliar people spotted in the area. I think that
Why are you here now?
I thought you might want to know.
It's camera angles, though. Ash could feel tears in her eyes.
Should I leave?
Why didn't you leave before? Why couldn't you have left 2 years ago? If you hadn't been here, she would have been with me. Even if she didn't feel the same way, she wouldn't be leaving me.
Hecktor just stood in silence, the shadow of his hood hiding his expression. Ash simply cried.
I'm sorry.
The words came so much later. Ash had almost forgotten he was there.
I never intended to take her away from you.
Silence was thick in the air, choking away any further words from either party. Somehow, the way he had said it only made her more sure he had done something during the ritual. Ash wanted to curl up into herself.
I wish there was more I could offer you. The greatest comfort I might provide you is the stupor of a drunken haze, but I can tell by the empty bottle of my liqueur that I have already provided a degree of assistance on that front.
Prude drinks some too.
Why was she defending herself?
I might assume from your state and
Hector's eyes fell and aspired just below his knuckles.
her own that you finally confessed.
You knew?
I lack empathy, not insight.
Get out.
No,
You can't just say no.
I can. I just did.
This boss ass nigga, like he needs some shade.
Get out of my room now.
How will that help? Please, explain it to me.
You took her.
Hector stood in silence.
Let's assume I did. Let's assume, then, that I, in fact, did it purposefully.
Did you?
What if I say yes? What will you do? We are paired. It cannot be broken now.
Then what is this?
Ash nearly backhanded the man with the Phoenix mark.
I don't know.
This is what mark she's supposed to have, isn't it? Before you did something to the ritual.
No.
No?
No. It is not.
How can you be so sure?
Because I know who you are paired to.
Ash stepped back.
What?
I spent the entire night hunting for your partner. I am quite sure I have deciphered their identity. Are you familiar with the cult of the...
Stop.
What?
I don't want to hear this right now.
Would you prefer sleep, more food, perhaps more drink?
Ash met the gaze of Hector and realized just how entirely unreadable a face he had.
Why?
Please specify.
Why everything?
I choose not to attempt humor, so I will try my best to answer your question as I see it. I am still here because I do not have a home to go to. I was a fortunate orphan in being found to have magic. Here I have stature to a degree. To become a hedge mage after this, I would rather suffer any shame than that. Next, why did you not pair with Prudence, and am I responsible for it? Likely you're simply not as compatible as you thought. I would like to point out that you were in love with her and she does not share the same sexual preferences.
Damn, it doesn't have any sexual preference. She loves me as sister, so that's still love. Hot bitch out of here.
As far as your Phoenix mark, I am almost entirely sure that is my doing.
How?
Hector shuffled and Ash realized he was still dripping wet. How long had he been out there during that downpour?
I couldn't deal with another year of shame. I developed a method of pouring more power than normal into the ritual. Operating on the theory that one's power is significant in determining one's worthiness towards pairing, I infused the ritual with likely several times over its normal amount of energy. I truly have no idea of the exact specifics of the side effects, but one that I was concerned with was that anyone who may be manipulating the light in any way may have been unintentionally drawn into the ritual. Which is why I am concerned that you may have been accidentally paired to a member of the cult of Grey Mages.
No.
The cloaked figure was spotted by others. They travel by foot, like me. I was mistaken for the individual until I removed my hood and showed the healthy glow of my eyes. The individual had a lifeless gray.
Why would I pair to a monster like that? How could I?
Bitch, you're talking to a gray witch right now. Don't you? Better sit your little half.
I have no answer to the first, but to the second. When they perform the ritual that turns them gray, the mark dissolves. It's the only way I know of to open an individual to a pairing once more. You see, higher...
No. Please, stop.
The more important question is why one of their number would be here.
Goddess protect me. Hector, shut up.
Hector did.
Did you really think it was appropriate to dump all this on me now? Can't you see the state I'm in?
I don't know. I thought understanding might bring you some comfort. I always find that things are easier to process when you understand them. Why do you think I spent so much time trying to understand the ritual?
Hector stood more once in silence.
As this is not helping, Is there anything else I can do to improve your mood?
Do you have more booze?
It's almost morning.
Booze.
Yes, I'll go lay hands on a bottle or two. And some more food.
With that, he was gone. Ash fell back onto her bed. The only sound he had made while leaving was dripping water. What if what Hecktor had said was true? Could she have really paired to a gray mage? That thought sent shivers down her spine once more. She laid in bed for what seemed an eternity. And I'm gonna stop it right there, guys.